not to get it. And you can rest between now and the 15th of April before we go back to work again, okay? 1, 2, 3, 2, lay it on the line. Lay it on the line, fellas. Come on, Tom. Come on, get to it. Go, baby. Let's go.
Hello and welcome to UHA Blazing to the Top. For the next 90 minutes, we'll look back on the biggest 4 days in UHA basketball history.
Go through all the 4 games at the Sweet 16, including the exciting finals, and we'll talk to some of the players' parents and see how the Sweet 16 excitement spread from their sons through the family.
This was a year for the Blazers. They were coached for the first time by Jeff Jackson. They won their first district and regional title, and they went to the Sweet 16 for the first time.
And at that tournament, they knocked off the #1 team in the state in their own backyard, Freedom Hall. From the exciting PRP game, the Blazers then outlasted Owensboro and went down to the wire against Lexington Catholic to win the state championship.
And we'll get started right after this break and come back and take a look at the Mason County game. Don't go away. Matchup against Mason County from the 10th region, and joining us on set now are head coach Jeff Jackson and his assistant Phil Keller, and also a couple of star players from the Mason County game, sophomore Greg Buckner and senior Derek Quarles. And Coach, talking to you before this game, you guys were a little concerned about Mason County's style, a very fast-paced style, full-court game.
Well, we were concerned about their quickness and their pressure, and they live and die by it, and they create a lot of offense with their defense, and they average around 90 points a game, and the small, quick teams have caused us problems, and we felt like we had to come up with something to combat that.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the highlights, and UHA gets off to a great start. In fact, early on in the quarter, you led by 17 points.
We got off to a good start, and I think Mason County may have been a little intimidated by our size and our strength inside, and we did get off to a good start, and we executed well, but they got back in it, and that's a tribute to them.
Talk a bit what y'all did in the first quarter, Derek.
I thought we were very loose. We were relaxed. We wanted to establish ourselves as the aggressor, and I guess they were sort of intimidated as the game went on. I think after Darren got that dunk, they knew they were in trouble.
And then we played a lot about the Sweet 16 and you guys going up there for the first time. Greg, sophomore on the squad, what was going through your mind? All these other guys, seniors, they've been through a lot more wars than you. What was it feeling like to you at this time?
Well, I was kind of nervous at first, and then coming in with Otis, he really helped me out a lot. Rather than coming in by myself and being a little afraid, he got a lot of pressure.
It looked like in that first quarter you guys were able to penetrate pretty much at will, especially Derek on a couple of plays.
Well, Derek uses his quickness well and penetrates and takes the ball to the basket. It creates a lot of opportunities for himself and for everybody else, and their defense was kind of spread out a little bit. The way we run our man-to-man offense, it spreads the floor some and creates some openings for a lot of our players, and we try to take advantage of everything we can.
And Coach Keller, I know you work a lot with the defensive part of this game and held Mason County to 4 points. I guess you were pretty pleased with that effort that first quarter.
Hey, I'll tell you, it was great. We come out there and play one of the finest first quarters that you're going to see, and the next thing we know, we turn it right around. They get right back in the ball game, but I was very pleased with the effort. Got great leadership out there on both ends of the court, defense and offense.
And we'll be talking with Darren a little later on, but just a great tournament for him. It all got started with this game right here.
Well, Darren had a great tournament. He's had a great 13 games really since Lexington Catholic lost in the Class A semifinals, and our kids regrouped a little bit, and Darren's really come on, and I think a lot of these guys have pushed him and made him work and be a better player, and he's really stood up and showed a lot of leadership and showed that he's a Division I player. And it's a tribute to him, and he's going to be a fine college player, but as the season went on, he progressed and got better and better.
Now, Derek, your team held a 17-point lead in that first quarter, but Mason County came back within 6, and you guys had to fight back in the third. What did you guys talk about at halftime?
Well, at halftime, we knew that after playing the second quarter, we were sort of sloppy. We wanted to regroup, stay focused, and come out and give it a little better effort in the second half.
Finished with 15 points on the game, Derek. You seem to be picking up your scoring going into the tournament. Were you finding more shots open for you with them doubling up on Darren and Marty?
Yeah, the defenses were starting to key in on our outside shooting by Tom Flynn and Marty. And that sort of left holes for me to just go and penetrate. That's what I do best in the field.
Saw Greg hit a few shots there. Talk about your game.
Well, I just let the offense come to me and look to get Marty and Darren in the game because they're the main part of the offense. I just let the shots come to me and get on the glass and get a lot of rebounds.
And Marty, 20 points in this game. And you guys kind of spread it out there late in the game. You see an easy bucket by Buckner right there. And you just kind of, it seemed like you just wore them down there at the end. And
Well, we got up and again, they got back in the second quarter, and I thought we lost some of their intensity and enthusiasm in the second quarter, and we allowed them to get back in it. And we didn't execute, but in the third quarter, I thought we picked it up and come back enthused and intense and focused. And then in the fourth quarter, we were up, and then they made a run, but we spread the floor, and they had to try to double team us and trap us. And we just moved the basketball well and got a lot of easy shots inside, and our kids just really played well against Mason County.
so the Mason County victory under the Blazers' belts now, and that set up a semifinal, or rather a quarterfinal matchup with top-ranked Pleasure Ridge Park, and we're going to take a break and come back and look at the highlights of that game.
Fellas, this is what you work for. This is what you went through 89 days of sheer tough practices for. And there's a chance to win the state championship. You're giving yourself that opportunity. You go on the floor and get her done. 1, 2, 3. Defense!
If you are left.
Many thought their second game would be their last as they matched up against the #1 team in the state, Louisville PRP. We're joined as always by Coach Jackson and Keller, along with Darren Alloway. Had a big game in the PRP game. Talk about going into that matchup with the state's #1 team. What were y'all looking at going in?
Well, we were looking at it as we had to control the tempo of the game and handle the pressure. That was the thing that was emphasized most by Coach Jackson. And, you know, we had to convert on the offensive end because you don't get too many putbacks against PRP.
Before we taped, you said y'all been intimidated by teams that were worse than PRP, so y'all really were looking at them as the state's #1 team going in?
No, I mean, we had respect for them because we've been playing them throughout the summer of my careers. But, you know, it's not really a big deal playing them because, you know, they're another basketball team, and we know they're #1 team in the state. But I thought that we could handle them, really.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights from the game. Coach, talk a little bit about the strategy going up against PRP.
Well, we felt like we had to have a score down in the 50s, and we had to, you know, control the tempo and stick the ball inside of Darren as much as we couldn't execute. And we knew that they were a very, very good full-court defensive team with a lot of pressing and double teaming, and we felt like we had to handle the pressure. I thought we got off to a good start at handling the pressure, and I thought that kind of set the tempo for the game. And we hit Tom hit Darren on the side of our press break, and we hit Marty and Derek cutting through there a few times, and that released a lot of pressure early. And I think us getting off to a good start was a big key, but I thought our kids played really well.
Have you ever coached against a quicker team than that PRP team was right there?
I don't think so. They're as quick as anybody that I've ever, you know, had an opportunity to coach against, and I mean, they trap every pass, and then they're just on the ball, and they slap, and they reach, and they hack, and they're just, you bring the ball down, you're in trouble. And I thought our kids did a good job fundamentally against PRP and the pressure, and I thought we handled it pretty well overall.
Coach Keller, what were y'all doing defensively against them?
We strictly man-to-man, and we played our rules. And what I'm pertaining to about our rules is where you've got to be. Depends on where the ball is, whether you be on the low side or the high side, and that's what we done. We didn't do it. It's strictly fundamental basketball, what we done in that basketball game, and we didn't go above the three-point line. We stayed right at the three-point line and played our defense out.
Now, Darren, I know a lot of PRP fans want to go opinion on that one. From your perspective, was it?
From my perspective, of course it wasn't. I mean, I don't think it was. I didn't think so at the time. I heard a little bit of derision from the crowd, and they got on the referees for a little while, but I don't think it was goaltending. I think it was.
And Darren had a great tournament on the defensive end. I don't know how many total block shots he had, but he was always in there fighting to keep the opposition away from the goal and just really intimidating inside.
Well, he was. He had 4 blocks this game to go with 13 rebounds, and he played really well. The thing that was very, very impressive was late in the game when the score was very close, and we had a timeout with like 3 minutes to go, and we talked about executing our offense and sticking it inside, you know, and the kids were pumping, and Darren said, "Coach, just get me the basketball right now, and I'll take care of business." And I think he got over 9 points in the last 2.5 to 3 minutes of the game. He asked for it, and these guys threw it in there to him, and that's a tribute to the unselfishness that we have and the team play that we have and the chemistry that we have. And you got somebody, the caliber player that he is, that wants that you give it to him, and we did, and we responded. And it was just a good, great victory for our basketball team in our school.
Darren, it had to be a great feeling on that block shot when you knocked it about 4 rows back behind your bench, and that kind of really got the crowd into it, I thought. And from about this point on, all the fans starting to get on the UHA side a little bit, and did that spark your team?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, everybody likes to hear the crowd go ooh and ah, you know, but that's not really the focus of the game. But you know, you like to hear it, and if the crowd's hyped, then we play well. We play better. We had just actually on the bus to the game. We had just talked about you know, getting the crowd excited, but we never expected 15,000 people to just stand up and get behind University Heights just like they did. I mean, that was a special game for all of us. But there were a lot of things that really turned the crowd in our favor, but that was one of the things.
A lot of a very physical game, maybe some questionable calls, and I think that got a lot of the fans on your side, and also the underdog role playing top-ranked PRP, and everyone likes to see the top dog go down. I think that's kind of the situation here.
Well, I think so too. Tom and I talked before we went up there, and I told him if we got a chance to play PRP in the quarterfinals, that other than the PRP fans, that everybody else in Freedom Hall would be for us. And I think that's the way it turned out. You know, they're very aggressive, and they reach and slap and try to get the ball and create turnovers. And, you know, a lot of teams that bothers. It doesn't bother our team because their kids are very physical and very aggressive right back. And really, we try to be physical to start the game and set the tone that way. And the crowd getting behind us was a big boost, but I think our defense was good. And when the crowd did get behind us, it did pick everybody up, and our kids started playing with a lot more of emotion and intensity. And I think they created a lot of the crowd support by the effort that they were giving out there. And again, it's a tribute to the way that we played against them.
And Marty steps the line, knocks in some crucial free throws, and late in the game, a great play there by Otis Duguid. And this play was very similar to the championship game Hoptown had against Clay County, and you alluded to that in the press conference after this game.
Well, as far as the free throws go, we didn't make them in the first half of any game hardly, and then we get down in the last 3 minutes when the game's on the line, and we stuck them. And that's what it's all about. That's having 6 seniors who step up there and handle the pressure well and want the basketball. And we made them when we had to. And the play that Otis made, again, as Coach Keller attested to earlier, we didn't do anything special. He drove baseline, and Otis dropped down and read the play like he's supposed to, and he was where he was supposed to be. And him getting the ball and throwing it down the floor was, again, a Magic Johnson type play, Wendell Quarles type play in the state tournament in '85. It's just an intelligent play, and the clock was going down. He throws it down on the other end of the floor. They can't score, and Marty tracks it down, and then we win. It was just a great team effort. Now, a very, very big win for our basketball team.
Talking a little bit about the emotion, Darren, in the locker room after the game. Understood y'all celebrated for a little bit, then you wanted to get focused again?
Well, I think we made the most of that celebration for the little time we had. I mean, we was crying and hugging, and you know, everybody was so excited. It was, and I think of the times I've had at UHA, that was probably the most exciting time I've had. But then Coach brought us back to earth in a hurry. I mean, he told us as soon as we get out of the shower, we have to play Owensboro in the morning, and that was the end of it.
Okay, we'll be back and take a look at that matchup with the Red Devils right after this. And for the UHA Blazers, they put it all together at the right time, led by 6 guys who had been through all the battles. UHA's 6 seniors had definitely seen the good times and bad during their high school careers. The Blazers had played under 4 coaches in the past 3 seasons, all of the legal battles with the KHSAA, sometimes not knowing if they'd be allowed to play another game. A great burden was put on a group of high school kids who just wanted to compete. Sure, the All-A titles of 90 and 91 were nice, but there's nothing quite like winning the Kentucky Sweet 16, arguably the best tournament of its kind.
We've got this desire, we've got this bond between us that we're going to work together. You know, if it means sacrificing yourself for the good of the team, then that's fine. And, you know, we've taken it far enough to where we work hard every day in practice, where on the floor we play good defense and do the little things, and it's really paid off.
They've worked hard, provided tremendous leadership, and they're very close on and off the floor, and they spend a lot of time together, and they have a lot of fun. And when you got 6 quality kids that provide all those positive aspects to your program, it makes my job easy, and they didn't want to lose.
Marty Klein was the glue that held the team together, the quarterback of the offense, and a player that consistently made the big plays in crunch time. Tom Flynn, along with Klein, have been at UHA since day 1 of their academic life. Flynn provided much-needed outside shooting when teams collapsed on Darren Alloway, and he rarely threw a bad inbounds pass. Derek Quarles obviously has great basketball bloodlines. His older brothers, Wendell and Jeff, helped lead Hoptown to the 1985 state title. Wendell took the MVP that year, and Jeff is Hoptown's all-time leading scorer. Derek, a key member of the Blazers since his freshman year, was the perfect complement to Klein in the backcourt. And if it wasn't for his quickness and ball handling, UHA's season would have probably ended against PRP in the semifinals at state. Darren Alloway, who moved to Hopkinsville with his family prior to his sophomore year from England, had never been to a state tournament, let alone win it and take home the MVP trophy like he did in Louisville.
When I first came here, I wasn't any good at all, and I've worked hard in practice, and they've worked me hard. They've ridden me a whole lot, and, they really have improved my game a whole lot. And what I do is just what they've done for me.
Otis Duguid, probably the most underrated player of this group, sparked the Blazers numerous times during the tournament with his ball hawking style. And Jeff Jackson calls him the best defensive player he's ever coached. Doug Colburn was the perfect role player, a guy who always seemed to be in the right place at the right time, getting crucial rebounds and baskets. He transferred from Hoptown after his sophomore year.
It was a good move academically and basketball-wise, so I'm pleased with what I did, and it paid off.
These 6 left a mark on not only University Heights Academy, but on thousands of basketball fans in Louisville as well. And Coach Jackson, what more can you say about those guys? They've meant so much to this program, and especially to this season and this state tournament.
Well, they're all 6 very, very classy young men, and they're all 6 excellent students. All 6 of them are honor students, and they do a tremendous job in the classroom. They really treat the younger kids well. I'm talking from kindergarten on down. They interact with them, and which makes University Heights special. But as far as the basketball part of it goes, they're very, very special. We had 89 days of practice, and they laid it on the line every day. And when we went into tournament play with the district, they were very focused, and they felt like that they were going to go places. And when we drew Christian County, you always wonder how your kids will react. And I come to school the next day, and they were excited about the draw. And when they were excited about the draw, I felt like we were going to be in pretty good shape. And they built on the district win and going into the region. I thought we played decent the first 2 games, and then we played well in the championship game. And we got ready to go to Louisville, and we felt like as a team, and they talked about going up there and winning the whole thing. And there was not a whole lot of hoopla. And we were excited after the PRP game, but they got focused real quick. And again, that's maturity and senior leadership and excitement. And they were focused, and again, it took a lot to get them really excited. It took a lot to impress them, and they stayed together. The chemistry was tremendous. They care about each other on and off the floor, and on the floor, if one makes a great pass, they point. And they high-five, and if somebody makes a mistake, they pat them on the tail to pick them up. And I've been around a lot of teams and seen a lot of teams play, and I've never seen better chemistry on a basketball team, and that's why they're special, and that's why they went up there and won the state championship, is because they're very close to each other, and they care about each other, and they're very sincere in their actions. And I've had a great season. It's been a pleasure to coach them, and it's something that I'll never forget, and all 6 of them are going to be very, very successful with what they do in life, because they're special kids and special young men, and tribute to the town of Hopkinsville and University Heights.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest memories everybody will have is when Darren was named Tournament Most Valuable Player, and he took all the seniors out with him. That really...
Well, that's what it's all about. Is Darren is very, very unselfish, sometimes too unselfish, and we've had to get him to be a little more focused to shoot, and the kids have got on him about having to score inside for us and be more of a force. And he's a great kid, and again, he showed what we're about. And we're about being together and being a basketball team and sharing everything together. And if Marty would have won it, or Tom, or Doug, or Derek, or Otis, or Greg, it wouldn't have mattered. And the one they wanted is the big one right here, and they got that, and that's the goal that we set the first day of practice on October the 7th. And I felt like, and Coach Keller and I talked several times, I don't think these kids are going to be denied. And they were very focused and very mature, and they're just very special. And if there's anybody deserving enough to win a state championship in the state of Kentucky, it's this group of seniors, and they're going out on a very special note, and it's something that they'll never forget. And it's just special, and the reason it is so special because they're such good kids.
Okay, we're going to take a break and come back with more Sweet 16 highlights, so stay with us.
Let's be on Saturday, they're playing the semifinals of the state against Owensboro. Joins again Coach Jackson and Keller, and also Doug Colburn and Otis Duguid. And guys, talk a little bit about getting up after playing that late Friday night game.
Well, during the tournament, I don't think any of us got a whole lot of sleep, and so when we were pretty tired, waking up in the morning, we had to get up early and get our pregame meal in, and we were pretty tired, but we knew that if we had to get up and play Owensboro because they're a real good team.
Let's take a look at some of the highlights to starting out. And Coach, what were y'all wanting to do against Owensboro in the early going?
We felt like we had to control the tempo. We had to contain Higgs and Douglas as much as we could, and they were averaging like 25 and 26 points each and about 15 or 16 rebounds each going into the game. And we felt like we had to step up and stop them, and I thought our kids did it. Doug did a tremendous job on Higgs, and excuse me, Darren did a tremendous job on the Douglas kid, and we did what we had to do to win defensively.
Everybody's talking about the Douglas-Alloway matchup, but really Darren got the best of him in this.
Well, Darren did. Darren played big and come out strong, and I think he's a better player than Douglas. And Darren didn't come out thinking he and Douglas. I think Darren came out thinking University Heights and Owensboro, and that's how we approached it defensively. And Douglas is a tremendous player, but Darren played extremely well. We played our rules defensively, and we did the things we had to do. We were kind of flat and kind of tired, and we didn't move real well, as you can see on the film, but we did what we had to do and made the big plays we had to make.
And UHA led 14-12 after the first quarter, and the Owensboro kept that lead to 1 by halftime. And the second half was just an absolute defensive battle, 11 points total there. And Coach Keller, are you pleased with your team's defensive effort? You guys held Owensboro only 30% from the field for the entire game.
I thought we played excellent defense. And one of the comments that I haven't heard made in the other 2 ball games was, I think our condition was the #1 factor that paid off for us in every ball game that was late. You know, whether it was 2-point or 3-point ball game, I think condition a whole lot really paid off, and we did condition well this year.
I'll just talk a little bit about the defense against Owensboro, hold them to that shooting percentage. You played a key part in that.
Yes, I just came off the bench and tried to spark the team, and I think we did a great job of getting up that morning and playing excellent defense. We just played with our intensity because we was physically draining that morning.
Seems like every time you slap the floor, you get a steal. Is that the key to it?
Yeah, Coach Keller taught me that. Yeah, that's what we usually do during practice. Just get our intensity up and slap the floor and get going that way.
And you talk about getting on the floor for the loose balls. You guys did a lot of this against Owensboro, and they didn't seem like they wanted to get down there. You guys apparently just wanted it a little more.
Well, Coach got us pumped up, and we knew that we had to play great defense against Higgs and Douglas, and so we came out ready to play, and we had good help side on them, and we pretty much shut them down for the game. And our defense was the biggest key because our offense we weren't hitting real great that game because we were emotionally and physically tired.
It seems like you guys got a second win there late in the fourth quarter. Did someone spark you? Did the coach say something to you? Or I know Otis got a couple of steals and one there by Darren and the layup by Otis. What really got you over the hump in that game?
I think we just came out and played hard. We knew the game was getting kind of tight, and we just had to come out and play hard and with a lot of emotion and intensity. And we just did that and got focused and just came out and won the game.
I think after that PRP game, it seemed like the team kind of had a sense that they weren't going to let anything stand in their way, especially an Owensboro team.
Well, we felt like that we went up there and played well, that we could win this whole thing. And again, I think our kids had that mindset from the first day of practice, and as the season progressed, and they got more comfortable with the style of play that we tried to implement with, being patient offensively and playing a lot of good quarter-court man-to-man defense. And the more we went on and the more success we had, the more focus they got. And I just don't think these kids were going to be denied an opportunity. And, we won this game with Owensboro. We shot the ball decently well, but we didn't take very many shots. And the ones we took were usually pretty good shots, and we got the ball in the paint a lot. And again, I have to agree with Coach Keller. I think conditioning in this game, especially after the emotional, physical draining of the Pleasure Ridge Park game the night before, in which we got back to our room and got into bed around 1:30, and we had to get up and come in and play. But I think the conditioning was one of the biggest factors in the whole tournament for us, because I think down the stretch, when, as you said, when the ball was on the floor, we were there, and we feel like if the ball is loose, it's ours. And our kids have been very aggressive and dove on the floor all season, and the conditioning and the defense and the execution was a big key in this game. And I just, they're not going to be denied. And it's just, they were that focused, and I'm very proud of them.
You can tell by the post-game celebration, not quite as excited as they were after the PRP game, but you guys knew you had another game coming up that night against Lexington Catholic.
Well, we did. I think we played the last game Thursday night and the last game Friday night. A piece of trivia that I'm not sure is true, but word has been going around that no team has ever started out on Thursday night at 9 o'clock and you play 4 games in 46 hours that ever won it. Mm-hmm. And usually you're tired. And I think we were a little tired going into Owensboro, but our conditioning paid off, and that could be another first if that piece of trivia turns out to be correct, and I hope it is, because that's a tribute to the conditioning program that we have, and hopefully these younger kids that we got coming back will say, well, it was really good, it paid off for these guys, and they'll come out there, and Greg and Tim and TJ and those guys, Darvin, Delvin, Jamron, those guys won't complain too much when we start practicing and start running them awful hard next year.
Makes your job a little easier next year.
Sure does.
Okay, we'll take a break and be back with more Sweet 16 action right after this. Found themselves in the state championship game against Lexington Catholic, a team the Blazers lost to in the All-A Classic semifinals. And I have our team captains with us now. Tom Cotton Flynn and Marty Klein joins us. And guys, talk about physically, how did you guys feel going into the title game?
I really felt that we had a little more energy than we did in the earlier game that morning. We had gotten some time to rest that afternoon. We got some food in our system, and I think that even with the little energy we got from the sleep and the rest that we got, we were pretty much running on mostly adrenaline.
And Tom, were you happy to see a rematch against Lexington Catholic?
I think that gave us a little added inspiration. We had played Clay County earlier in the year too, so either, one way or the other, it would have been a rematch. Lexington Catholic, I think there was definitely an added feeling of revenge, and for me especially, I didn't get to play in the game. I'd hurt my ankle when we lost to them before, so I was really enthusiastic about playing them and really hype over the game.
Okay, let's take a look at the highlights from the championship game. And going in, coaches, what about the game plan?
Well, the thing was that 4 teams that we played up there all played very, very similar. They all like to press, they all like to run and get up and down the floor. So the game plan was basically the same going in for all 4 opponents, and it made preparation very, very easy. We didn't have to make any great adjustments offensively or defensively. We just played our rules defensively and tried to run our press breaker and be patient on the offensive end of the floor and execute and stick it inside. So playing the same type of team all 4 games really helped, and we had to contain them defensively and handle the pressure to win, and I think we pretty much did that.
And there's the Devon Davis, an outstanding player they had. And this team, very solid, also very young. They're going to be a team you'll hear a lot about probably in the next couple of years.
Well, they are. They're very, very well coached. Danny Haney does a tremendous job with them, and I've known him for a long time and got a lot of respect for him and the job he does. And he's got some really good kids. Fraley kid's a good player. Davis is a good player. They got all those kids come back. I think they had 1 senior starter, so they're going to be very, very good. And we're going to have to contend with them, and hopefully we'll see them down the road a little bit, maybe in the Class A somewhere again. Also, maybe in the Sweet 16 again. We'll be honest.
Coach Keller, defensively, what kind of problems is this Lexington Catholic team?
Well, the biggest problem that is going inside and then back outside with the kid that shoot the 3. I can't remember his name. But he could flat burn the 3s up, you know.
Chad Martin.
Right. They kick the ball in a lot like that and then try to kick it back to him, whether he was on the strong side or the weak side. And that's one of our concerns right there, make sure that he didn't get a 3. We done a decent job on him to late in the basketball game, and then he hit that last shot right there, and it was an NBA 3.
Talk a bit about what they were throwing at you defensively, Marty.
Oh, they have a very excellent full-court press that I think it's a diamond on the ball type of press, and we just had to run our press breaker that we'd worked on over and over in practice throughout the year, and we had to execute it better than we did the first time we played them, and I think we did that, and that was one of the keys of the basketball game.
With the short turnaround time, it had been nice playing them again. You pretty much knew their game plan coming in.
I think we were well prepared for all our games, but this one especially. We didn't have to make up much of a new scouting report. We knew the team well, and it helped us a lot.
I understand on that one, Marty didn't want you to shoot that long. That play, you made it anyway.
It was a tough shot. I give him credit for it. He just took it and stuck in the basket.
Well, beforehand you said you yelled out no when he shot it.
Marty probably wanted to shoot it. He had a good night from the floor. And like all these games, real tight through the first half, and they all really weren't decided until late in the game. And this was a battle throughout.
Well, the style of basketball that we play, being very patient, very deliberate, and running our offense and playing with court defense, the scores are going to be low. And it comes down to the defense and rebounding and fundamentals and execution. And, we're not going to blow anyone out with the style that we play, because we feel like that if our kids do the job on the floor, that they will win in the end, and they do things the right way. We feel like if we're close within the last 2 minutes, we can give our kids a chance to win. And they've responded as the seasons went on, and we knew the games were going to be close, and we knew we had to control the tempo in all of them, and we did that. And I think we won the PRP by 2. Owensboro by 3, and then come back and win the Lexington Catholic the championship game by 2. So that's not a great point spread. That's not going to put you high in a lot of Lifton House ratings or Catchwell ratings. But we won the basketball game playing our style, and we did the things that we had to do. And as long as it's by 1, I really don't care if the score's 2-0, as long as we're 2.
UHA outscores Lexington Catholic 21-11 in the third quarter, and kind of takes control of the game, but they keep fighting back, they keep hitting 3-pointers, and they just won't die.
Well, all good basketball teams make a run, and all good basketball teams stay in there until the end, and they fight and scratch and they claw. you know, the way Catholic plays is a reflection of the way that they're coached, and Danny's very aggressive, and he battles to the end, and his kids do the same thing. And you know, we knew that they was going to make a run, and we had to withstand it. And I think we did it. We made the free throws with a big place when we had to, and the kids stepped up, made the defensive stops when we had to, and it was a complete team win. And again, we did the things that we had to do, and we got a little saying going, let's go do things the right way, fellas. And they did when it counted, and that's why they're state champions.
Marty, what was going through your mind on those free throws late in the game?
There's no question that there were pressure free throws, but I had to put all of that out of my mind and just concentrate on the basket. I had to put myself in the situation that I was in the basketball court all by myself, just shooting free throws like I was in practice. That's something that I'd always dreamed about when I was little, practicing my free throws. I'd put myself in a situation in a state championship game with a certain amount of time on the clock. We're down one or up one, need some big free throws, and I used to do that all the time when I was little, and I think that the time came when I had to step up and make the free throws, and I did that.
26 points. Was that one of your, it had to be one of your better offensive games of your career, going against a good team like that, in a big game like that, and shooting the ball so well?
I think a lot of the adrenaline had something to do with that. We were really pumped up coming into the game. Even though we didn't have much energy left, our conditioning was pretty well, so we kind of took over with our adrenaline. And I think, you know, we just played the basketball game like any other.
Talk about that feeling right there. What's that all about?
That's the greatest feeling that I've experienced so far. Nothing can really describe it. You know, you sort of build in hopes of that through your entire high school career, and it's, you know, it's the payoff of a lot of hard work, and it's sad in a way because an era's coming to an end, but you know, on the other hand, there's no joy like it either, seeing what you've accomplished.
Tom receives the academic award, scholarship that goes with it. Darren Alloway and Marty Klein named to the all-tournament team. And of course, Darren also will later receive the MVP trophy, and I thought it was a tremendous gesture on his part to bring all you guys out to accept the award.
I think there's no question about it. Darren is a really classy person. You know, he's been raised really well, and I think it was a very good gesture on his part to bring us all out there. It took a lot of guts and a lot of class, as I said before, and I think that symbolizes our school, a class act.
We saw James White around, former Blazer. What did he tell y'all before the game?
He talked to us a little bit before every game, you know, just to do it for the pride in your school and the pride in yourselves, and he knows all the hard work it takes, and you know, at the school we're a little more like a family than a school, I guess, because you know, everybody knows each other and everybody cares about one another, and even, you know, when James went away to Harvard, that didn't change.
And we've talked about it before. Have you guys really been able to grasp what you've accomplished yet? Maybe you haven't. You've been probably more of these state tournaments than the other guys, but I kind of got the feeling everybody was just kind of in a daze right there for several hours after that game.
Well, I think, you know, really we still are. They've had the reception, and they had an assembly at school. We've been to Rotary. We're here tonight. We're going to the Kiwanis tomorrow. And I don't think the kids they're happy and they're smiling and they're walking about 4 feet off the ground. But when all this dies down a little bit and they get together and sit back and look and reflect on what they've done, it will hit. And there's 272 teams try to win this thing every year, and we're the best team in the state of Kentucky, and it's because those 6 guys provide a lot of great leadership and the chemistry, and they worked hard, and it was just a lot of fun. And when this all settles down a little bit, they'll realize what they've done, and it'll become more and more special as time goes on, especially when they come back for their reunions and see each other later on in life. It'll become more special, and that's when this thing will be more meaningful.
Okay, we're going to take a time out. We'll be back and have a special feature on the UHA Blazer parents. So stay with us. Tough on the players, you got to see the parents. As their sons were on the court winning the state championship, UHA parents were fighting the butterflies. Nothing creates the frenzy in high school sports as the boys' Sweet 16 tournament. .272 schools competing for one title in a basketball-crazed state. UHA Blazers beat Pleasure Ridge Park, Owensboro, and Lexington Catholic in their final 3 games of the state tournament by a combined total of 7 points. And the team probably handled the pressure even better than the parents.
It's fun, but you're a bundle of nerves the entire time. I'm 50 years old, and it's almost unimaginable to believe that a man 50-year-old can have this kind of feelings about a high school basketball game. It's crazy, but it's fun.
This is a thrilling thing up here, and I'd like every parent to be able to experience this if his son plays basketball. You can't describe it.
For Darren Alloway and his family, natives of England, the Sweet 16 experience was also a first, but they quickly figured out how big a deal it is.
It is impossible to relax, really, when you have, children playing in these games. We are very tense, just as they are. It's a very tense moment, especially with them getting so far in the tournament. The tension increases.
All parents show their support in different ways, and senior Otis Duguid often received pointers about his play from his father.
Once he gets home, I get on by one thing or another. Sometimes I ask him, why don't he shoot the ball more, He's a good defensive player. He's quick with his hands and stuff like that. And sometimes I would just like to see him shoot the ball a little more. But other than that, though, his game is together for us,
For Mildred Quarles, state championships are old hat. Of course, she was proud of Derek, but she also experienced it with older sons, Wendell and Jeff, who starred for the Hoptown Tigers when they won it in 1985. The state championship was also important to Doug Colburn's family, but his parents had more than one obligation on that Saturday night.
Well, my sister, about 2 months ago, planned a wedding for the 28th of March, and I told them, you better not do that at the state tournament, and they didn't figure we'd be county or on down the road. And so my mom and sister are in Atlanta. She got married at 7 o'clock tonight, and my mom's real upset about missing it, but she'll be happy for me.
Okay, look at the parents, and Marty's dead. No, he's a little wrung out after that state tournament, as many of the other parents were also.
All the parents seemed like they were ready to play the game beforehand, and I'm sure they were all relieved afterwards and understand they're coming back down to earth right now also.
Yeah, these guys are more relaxed than they were. We're going to take a break, and we'll be back and look at the welcome home celebration for the Blazers.
Returned home Sunday as the state champions, and what a welcome they received. One fit for, well, a state champion.
This is the first time the UHA won the district championship, and it's right there. This is the first time we won the regional championship, and it's right there. It's the first time we even got very close to going to the Sweet 16, and we'll talk about that in a minute. It's Coach Jackson's first year.
This truly is a great day for Hopkinsville. It's a great day, particularly for this school and this community. There's nothing that I know that keeps this community working together better, that welds them together more than athletics. Sometimes we hear somebody say, well, you ought to quit playing so much and go to studying. Well, that may be some truth to it, but nothing that welds a community and even a state together more than athletics. I think it's great. I'm honored to be here today, and you're a great young bunch of youngsters. Thank you, and Coach and all of you.
And the mayor of the city of Hopkinsville, Wally Brown.
I want y'all to know I drove up this time. I didn't flew the airplane. I tell you what, I'm glad this team won, and I'm glad this season's over. I need to get Mark Withers back to work. No, I tell you what, it's great. I really felt it back in the district. I really did. I really felt like we were going to win it all. And you know, we beat the best out of Eastern Kentucky. We beat the best out of Western Kentucky. We beat the best out of Louisville. We beat the best out of Lexington. What else can you do? I'd just like to say you brought a lot of honor and a lot of fame to Hopkinsville, and we all appreciate it. God bless you.
And our County Judge Executive, Frank Gary.
You know, the Lord looks after his children. Right. And I say that honestly, when I got up this morning, I did not have any earthly idea to put on a green coat. But the first time that I walked up, Coach, the first person said, it's a good thing you wore that green coat. If you come out here with a red, we'd have skinned you. I can't take a whole lot of skin in there. But you, in all sincereness, and you know, the things that Linda told me and heard the principal say it a little bit earlier, the green coat had all he could stand. Most of the people I understand, Coach, while they were up there, wore the same clothes. They were scared to change. And if that's what brings it, that's great. But you know, we're tremendously, and I say that sincerely, proud of our young people here in Christian County, especially these young people that have brought this state championship back to Hopkinsville and Christian County. To sort of emphasize that on a little bit more, you'd be surprised at the endorphin prospects that come in that recognizes that. And I can say that sincerely. But Coach, we're tremendously proud to have you here for this first year, and tremendously proud that you brought this championship home. And you know what it's taken is teamwork. And I think you young men sitting on that front row realize that. And when you put it together, you made your minds up what you wanted to do. And in our life, we can do that. And we're just, Christian County is just overly proud of it. And God bless you.
Thank you very much. I'm not going to say a great deal, and my vocal cords won't stand it. My voice is about gone, but I do want to comment on these young men for 1 minute. I think they're the finest group of kids that I've ever seen assembled, and I know all of you are as proud of them as we are.
I am very proud to be here. And I've told the student body this at the pep rally, and I've told Mr. Flynn this one. When I was in Florida as an assistant coach at Choctaw, and I got a phone call about University Heights, would I be interested in coming back? The coach there said, Jeff, I'm retiring here in 2 years. This job is yours. There's 2,300 kids at this school. Why would you want to go back to Hopkinsville, Kentucky, to University Heights with 48 kids in the top 4 grades? I said, well, it's kind of like this. For one, basketball in Kentucky is tremendous. It's better than it is anywhere in the country. And I said, and they've got some kids that I know. I've had the privilege and honor to work with Darren and Tom last summer on the Kentucky Junior All-Star team. Marty'd been on that team the year before. I've known Derek and Otis from Hoop Stars and Marty and Tom, and really since they were in the 6th and 7th grade. And then I come in and I find out I got a 6'5" senior named Doug Colburn that I'd only remember playing when he was at Hopkinsville when I was at Marshall County. I said, that's 6 good reasons right there. And if those 6 kids put it together, they're going to win a state championship because I'm going to go up there and we're going to get it done. And they did that. And I need to say, fellas, thanks. Made me look good.
First, I guess I'd just like to thank everybody for supporting us all year and following us through 2 state tournaments. It's really been meaningful. It's really helped us a lot. You know, we got into the PRP game, and I think your enthusiasm was catching. You know, there for a while we had 15,000 people yelling for us. And that's another group of people I'd like to thank is the 5 seniors that have been with me for a long time. It's taken a lot of hard work over the years. It's taken a lot of heart to get to where we are. And they're a special group of people. Also, the rest of the team has worked very hard and sort of sacrificed themselves in practice throughout the year to make us better players. And that's really helped us a lot too. Coach Jackson brought a lot of discipline to our program. You know, we gave up under 60 points every game in the tournament. To competition like that, that's good defense. Coach Keller also, I think, deserves a special thanks. He's, with me especially, he's spent a lot of extra hours in the gym helping me on my game. And if it wasn't for him working with me, then, you know, I don't know what kind of a ball player I could have been. I certainly couldn't have come on and played as well as I did, so I'd like to thank him. And also my parents, they've always been with me and behind me and pushed me to do my best in everything. Thank you, and I love you. Marty.
First of all, before I thank anybody here, I'd like to thank the Lord. Without his guidance, we would not have been able to accomplish this. First of all, I'd like to thank all of you fans. You just don't know what kind of feeling it was riding into town on the bus with the police escort and looking out the window as we ran around a curve and seeing the line of seemingly endless headlights for miles. It was so emotional. It was a wonderful feeling. You just can't, it's hard to describe. I'd like to thank Coach Jackson. He's pushed me personally that little extra because I'm trying to get prepared for Division I college basketball at Morehead State, and he's done a great job in pushing me in my position at point guard. I'd like to thank him for that. Coach Keller, who's worked with me individually on shooting, passing the ball, and he means a lot to me, and I'd like to thank everybody that's here. Mr. Flynn, there's not much else I could say. You're a wonderful person. You mean a great deal to this program. and I'd like to thank you, Mr. Dennison. I'd like to thank everybody that's here, my parents especially. Without them pushing me all the time, I'm sure that a lot of you know my father has pushed me quite a great deal. And, but as you see right here in front of you, I think it paid off. So.
Well, I don't guess I really know where to begin, but I'd like to thank the fans. You've been behind us even though we've only had 5 home games, but I think that helped us in the tournament because we were used to traveling. I think the main person I have to thank is Coach Jackson, because without him, I don't think we could have had that trophy in front of us. He's a wonderful coach, the best one I've ever had, and he means a lot to the program. I'd like to thank my mom and dad. My mom wasn't able to be at the tournament because of my sister's wedding, but I'd still like to thank her. And my dad, he's been behind me since I was in the 2nd grade, and we've always dreamed about winning the state tournament. We went and watched it in '85, and I never thought I was going to be able to be a part of a team, and it finally came true. And I'd like to thank Coach Keller. He has worked with me during the summer, and he means a lot to me. He's a personal friend, and I'd just like to thank everybody.
Well, here I am again addressing the UHA family en masse. I'm very, very proud to be a part of this situation. I mean, for the 3 years I've been here, we've been fortunate enough to win state championships at whatever level. And I think that just goes to show the winning tradition of this school. And that winning tradition isn't just because we've got a good basketball team, it's because we have a good foundation of a family, and the teachers and the administration, they all go to make the school what it is today. I'd like to thank the teachers for pushing us as hard as we are being pushed, because I mean, 06 seniors being on the honor roll doesn't make any, it really doesn't mean anything unless the honor roll really means something, and at this school it really does mean something. But as for the team, I'd like to thank the Lord for guiding us through this very troubled year and for giving me the talents that He's given me, and my teammates for helping me enhance those talents and bring them to the fore. Everybody's worked to me, hacked to my arms, blocked my shots, took my dribbles away from me, but it all helps in the end, because I guess that goes to show right there. People have said a lot about Coach Jackson, and at the start of the year, nobody thought we had a chance with a new coach and a new system. And he said we've made some adjustments. I think those adjustments was major reconstruction.
First of all, I'd like to thank the Lord for blessing me with these wonderful group of teammates, and the UHA family who's been behind me for the 6 years I've been here. And I'd like to thank Mr. Bill Flynn for all the contributions he's made to the program, Mrs. Flynn. I'd like to thank Coach Keller
My individual defense belongs to him. He made He makes you stay down on defense all the time, so that's where my defense belongs to. I'd like to thank Coach Jackson. If it wasn't for him, this wouldn't be possible. He came to the program and just changed things around so much that it's hard to explain. Coach of Clay County is a great coach, but I think Coach Jackson really is the coach of the year.
Being in the smartest schools in the state, this is a great honor. You know, I'm proud. I'm so proud. I don't know, I feel like crying. I'm very, very emotional right now. I'd like to thank Mr. and Mrs. Flynn. They've been a great impact upon my life. They've taught me to always put academics first. I hope that I can continue and strive through life and overcome anything.
Don't forget the tennis shoes I gave you.
And I'd like to thank Coach Keller and Coach Jackson. They're the two best coaches in the state of Kentucky, no doubt. I really like to give some special thanks to Coach Jackson. When he first came in, everybody was very skeptical of him. Nobody knew what to expect. We knew him from Hoop Stars, but we really didn't know him. And then he came in, he opened his house and home, he invited us over for Sunday dinner and stuff. And we watched WrestleMania with James Richards. Well, we sort of watched, he sort of wrestled down. I'd just like to thank him for a wonderful job. He's brought discipline into our program, something that really hadn't been emphasized, and now it's there, and I hope it stays, and I hope we can continue to work and strive. And good luck to the JV team for next year. I think they did a great job by pushing us every day in practice. Thank you.
And we'll be back to wrap up the Sweet 16 right after this. Blazers, from the cheers during the PRP game to the anticipation of the semifinals and finals and the elation of winning the state championship.
This one season the players, coaches, fans, and all of Hopkinsville will remember. Be a time to talk for many years, and right now it's time for the memories to begin.
We'd like to thank the coaches and players for dropping by tonight. And as we leave you, we want to relive some of those championship memories. Thanks for watching.
You're gonna make it happen, make it happen. And if you're on your knees and nice and fresh. to the night. He's gonna make it happen. Make it happen.
I don't think there's anything like it. Kids dream about this as they grow up, and it's just, it really hadn't hit me yet. It's starting to sink in a little. And
biggest win in the history of the school. I mean, bar none. We've done so much hard work, 89 days of practice. I don't know how many games we played now. I don't know what our record is. I'm kind of confused right now. But we work hard. We play good defense. We rebound well, and we win a lot of games. And we won this one today. Biggest win in the history of the school. I mean, bar none.
This is especially meaningful. I mean, this is the first one in the school's history. It's the first one the school's ever been to. I think it means a lot for small school basketball in the state of Kentucky, and I think it means a great deal for our school and the second region itself. It's an ecstatic feeling.
It's kind of unbelievable. We've come a long way, and we finally accomplished the main thing we've been trying to accomplish for the last 3 or 4 years since I've been at UHA. It's all happening so fast that it's really hard to take it all in. It's a great feeling, and we played 4 games in less than 2 days. It's taken a lot of heart. I can't say enough about the players or the coaches or the fans.
They're the #1 team in the state of Kentucky, and they're very, very deserving. And this is what we work for from a coaching standpoint, and the kids have worked extremely hard in practice.
Cruising tips so fly, a young, lovable, huggable type of guy. And everything is to the back with a little slack. Cause inside out is wicked and wicked and wicked and whack. I come stopping with something pumping and keep you jumping. R&B, rapping, bullcrap is what I'm dumping. Ain't nothing special about cause we all act. Doing their acts and they rock, they believe in. Jump, jump. The mad dad'll make you jump, jump. My daddy back will make you jump, jump. Chris Cross will make you jump, jump.
They are the #1 team in the state of Kentucky.
First 50 callers making an appointment on account.
At Furniture Factory Outlet,
Preceding was a full commercial program paid for by New Day Marketing.
Nashville's only weekend morning newscast on News Channel 5.
Which car outsells Saturn, Geo, and every other